How we doing, guitar friends? If you're out there and you can see me, let me know. It's just an impromptu stream here. I've been loving working on learning on the fly. Trying to chase Mr. Bukovac, Uncle Larry, Guthrie Trap the best I can. Shoot for the moon, fall in the stars, whatever they say. I'm glad you're here. There are no refunds, no guarantees on anything I'm doing here, but maybe along the way my stumbling forward will help you learn something. And we're in C sharp minor today. This is Uncle Larry. He's up in Chicago as far as I can tell right now. He and Guthrie are going to be playing Martyrs tonight. So this is hot off the press. You know, it's just cooling by the windowsill. And I figured I'd jump right in, strike while it's all piping hot. And yeah, let's get acquainted. So what you see up there, all the dots, they're going to be what we use as our playground. And a lot of this kind of bluesy stuff, rock stuff, and things that probably will just mystify and perplex me. But let's get into it, and we'll go from the top, and I'll get what I can get, as ever. And he's playing through this incredible little, tiny little 9-watt amp, which is hilarious. It's in the thumbnail of that video. Check out the original video that he just posted. The link's in the description. But boom, boom. So we got this boom, boom, boom. Kind of a piece right there of this, like a minor 7, boom, but got this nice little extensions there. You got the 9, so it's like a minor 9. Just a piece of that right there. That's a great chord right there, and that's like a. It sounds like he's doing kind of going to the 4, a little bit like that, sort of. Really nice and airy. And I think he's kind of reaching under there to grab that so he can mute the 4th string. Nice. So for a moment there, what was kind of cool, I mean, it's all kind of cool, but for a moment what I think I saw, and there's going to be a lot of moments where I'm like, oh, I can't hold it like that. He's got these huge meat hooks that he's, but for my experience, I do really enjoy when you can hold, if you're in a spot of the neck where you can hold the root. So that's worth the stretch if you can get there, because you get this kind of droning. Back to that chord. He's got that whammy bar there for the vibrato. Goes back to that chord again. Ooh. So that's a nice kind of grip right there to reach back with. So you got the root, that minor 3rd. If you can grab that, you know, I always find that if you find that you can't get as much distance as you want, try just angling your fingers. It might not cure everything, but it does give you a little more kind of distance where you can kind of reach this. So we've got this, the pinky right there, grabbing that 3rd. Really nice spot there to grab the 3rd and the flat 7. We got Kent, we got David Patrick. I think we got Dermot in the house with the popcorn. Ooh, yeah, so we got So that's a really cool area there to do this kind. I got this kind of a foot thump thing going here as well. Where is it on this camera? Just for fun, I've been working with that. So sometimes I'll sort of break down a groove like this and. Good little spot. Each morsel of this whole jam is going to have things that are like, oh yeah, you could spend a whole day on that. And I just might. So here we are, right? Like that's another one right there. Okay, so little snippets of that. Like, so he's doing this, holding it right there for a bit. And then he switches up to this kind of in that box 1 spot. And then that sets him up in position to do, and this. That's a really useful area there. If you're in like sort of a box one spot, you can do this boom, boom. I recommend kind of getting acquainted with that because that's like sort of the... Good stuff right there. Wayne, how we doing? Peter, how we doing? Good to see you all here hanging out. We're just getting loosey-goosey with it. Just how... Ooh, I love that. So I love some of these things that are just like, you would never be able to really, I don't think, necessarily like write it down, being like, okay, exactly, everyone maestro, we're going to play. It's that attitude of... So just take sort of a frantic attitude, or maybe a Frampton attitude, and be like, the dots are just going crazy there, but we're just basically doing that, but we're just putting it into this kind of wah-ba-ba-wah-ba-ba-wah-ba-ba, and getting that kind of vibrato and sort of warble on it as we go, which I love. It really staccato. And you slide down there. That's a real, I think, as we sometimes talk about like diagonal pentatonic and stuff like that, like maybe we sort of, we think of it the wrong way around, meaning like we think that there's a diagonal pentatonic that that all these advanced players are kind of like practicing and trying to like go over, but it's a little bit more that I think just the ergonomics of doing these slides are so like built into what just feels good and quicker to play, that it's after the fact that we're like, how'd they do that? Well, it looks like they're doing a more diagonal approach. So like try to treat it as something that like what I'm trying to do basically is like dig into these licks that sort of kick my butt, and then I'm like, well, how's he getting there? And it's like, oh, the fingering really shows like, oh, that's so much more kind of fluid, and you're able to keep this kind of first and third finger kind of grip, and that's the real incentive for going after these so-called diagonal pentatonics, is that you get this ability to do this and sort of keep that sort of speed grip going, right? Yeah, so up here, and you can see it down here, like when you're on the map. So that's that C sharp minor, right? Yeah. And all this is like, I'm almost kind of bookmarking this as I go to be like, all right, these are some things I need to work on, spend some more time on. And one category that I'm always sort of thinking I can improve on is these descending blues patterns and runs, so that they can just kind of flow out without having a process like that. So that they're all just sort of like flowing like water, which he's got down obviously so well. No idea what's going on there, but maybe some of the Guthrie stuff that I've been getting into is like those sort of suddenly doing like a little bit of something that's slightly out from the typical box one stuff. So this would be and I was starting to learn that lick in the one that I was working on yesterday that Guthrie did, sort of in that world of the sort of that world, and I can kind of hear how they influence each other. Obviously, they're doing that gig tonight. Get down to Martyrs if you know anybody in Chicago. It's sold out tonight, I think. But anyway, envious up there in that Windy City. We got Adams Gomez in the house, friend of the family. Yeah, this is very impromptu. If you're here checking it out, you're awesome. You're already awesome. Jersey, how we doing? Ooh, those bends are great. So we got this. And something that I'm starting to see more and more as I go is the power of using an underpowered, what you would think of as the less desirable finger to do a bend with, meaning using the first finger, you don't seemingly have as much oomph because you don't have the other fingers with it. But when you got something like this, it's really great for half step bends. So let's see if I'm down here in that sort of box one. If I do like a, it's really nice for the kind of vocal and sometimes the sort of microtonal sort of bends. Yeah. All that good stuff. Glad you guys are kicking it. Hope you got your guitar. Let me know in the chat, drop a guitar emoji if you have your guitar in your hands. That's the idea here. So these bends are just so great up here. Because you really got to practice. Sometimes we forget to practice getting up into those tiny frets so that we can hit that sort of like licks like that. Okay, that's ferocious. I'm gonna try not to slow things down. I just want to keep flowing and see what I can grab. But I will go back a bit and let's sort of review the sequence here. So right there, I can grab that, and I'll switch over here. So that's this. Got to have that one. I'm gonna put on a little bit more grit here. So that's really important. That one. Another one was like. Again, trying to get better at those. Like, and he gets down into this like he does like a. So don't overlook this one right here. I can never remember which box is what, other than box one, but it's like maybe box 4 or whatever. But just this one that's based off that 5th fret. Because this is one of those cases where it can actually go lower than this one, right? Because this would be like, but now we got this, and he does a real nice hammer or sort of pull off combination. Let's go back and check it out. Babylon, Babylon. So Babylon, Babylon. And again, these are moves that will kind of like throw you into this next spot just down here below. So I only have like those sort of like low 3 strings there, but I think that's the juiciest part of that low riff area there, particularly here, because you look at how you get the, because that's exactly the same, like really useful stretch. It's like the middle chunk of box 1, right? But we got. Yeah, just jam along, just noodle along. This is above my pay grade too, but it's good to get our butts kicked and sort of like, you know, just grab what you can grab from the fire hose, as they might say. I'm gonna go back again. Yeah, one other detail there is like the where is it? So a lot of times I'm hearing recently in his playing and in Guthrie's, going down a blues scale. Something to that effect, and then resolving to the major third, but not just that. So we've got, usually we go, that's that minor third, right? But when we do bum, you'll hear that a lot. It's a great way to land a otherwise sort of minor blues lick. But you could go up there, that's great. That sets you up for other things. But if you decide to switch the fingering, the right there, then you got that. More that major. So he switches to that fingering just for a bit, and then he continues on down. Yeah, so the. And he gets back up again. So those double stops, gotta have them. Then again, back to this sort of grip right here. It's just a really nice minor chord, spread voice. And you could imagine if you're playing that, like any sort of tone, the gritty tone like this, but let's say if you have like all those sort of spread voicings are just delicious. But here. Yeah, so he does a little bit. Go back a bit. So this, just before that, he's doing this kind of. Check that out. That's like. So you could spend, you know, you could just rock out to that for a while. So we had this kind of vamp going. Stuff like that. Fun with the looper, right? Feel free to drop any questions in there as we go. I'm mainly just kind of in my own little happy world here, and hopefully you're jamming along too. C sharp minor blues is the way of the day. And my name's Guitar Friend Tim, if you don't know. That's what I go by out here in the interwebs, based in Nashville. And just trying to learn a bit more as I teach a bit more and have that happy, positive feedback loop go around. Many of my members are here. We got a great community, and we do live streams every week. And we just get into it. I give a lot of Dare to Share challenges every month, so I get to hear and see what people are working on. And we got Tim Taylor there jumping in. Yeah, we're dropping into the groove here, letting Uncle Larry homeschool us. He's on the road right now up in Chicago. And look, we're not even 2 minutes into this. I'll shut up a little bit more and play a little bit more. So up there, that's just working the. Some of this, I think, is just making sure he's just kicking off the cobwebs and making sure that he's got every zone of the neck. It's the same as down here. It's a very different story. And then that lick he did before. Yeah, it's important to get up there on the tiny frets and kick them around a bit. Oh yeah, right there. So the same stuff. It's like that. It would be like. Just an octave. Too fun. And just those tiny moments that I'll hear something that I kind of recognize is like the it's a great bend to have in your repertoire. It's sort of, I don't even know necessarily, like I think of it as sort of like the really like vocal sort of like totally off there. Because it gets you up and yeah, you can work that. You can work that like. Stevie Ray stuff there. Love that all day. And that he's actually doing. Hitting those those two notes. Kind of nice fourth. Woo. Oh boy, here we go. All right, who can tell me what string is it? What open string was he just hitting right there? I'm going to check in with you, chat, with you, commenters. What open string was he just droning as he went through a bit of that scale? This was totally impromptu. I saw that Mr. Bukovac put this up live like a couple hours ago, and I was like, I feel like learning this. I'm like, well, if I'm going to learn it, might as well make it the content and learn in front of y'all. It happened pretty fast. Let's go back and check it out. So the quiz question for you all is, tell me what open string is he working into this section right here? So what open string was he droning through that? Because this is a really cool, depending on the key, to incorporate open strings into your kind of blues riffage is a real nice, like really guitaristic sounding thing. So like G is a good example where you hit the open G or the open D. So in this case, he's doing C sharp minor, so he could do an E, but he's actually doing B. It just has a nice different kind of like sort of rub with it, because the B in relation to the C sharp is the flat 7. So you're getting this kind of like, but you're getting it in that lower voice right there, which is just pretty stanky. Let's get in there. I'll go back a bit. Just kind of. Nice, right? Oof. Not going to be able to get all that, I'll tell you what, but we're going to get some of it. That's a bend that you should have in your repertoire, and it's like a real nice subtle half step bend. You're going from the 6 to the 7, so it takes a lot of that kind of. Oh yeah, that Nightbot, sorry, that was an old link, but the one that you want, just go to guitarworkoutoftheday.com. That's the current deal. That the one that it's running, sorry, is from last week when we were doing boot camp, and that did in fact expire on Sunday night. We got another great deal and everything that's going on right now, but sorry, I didn't update those. It has a mind of its own. I guess that's the whole idea. Those kind of chromatic things, like, I don't know, like, just kind of, what is it? Some of those things, those are just like really nice 6. So. He gets into a bit of that, I think. Oof. Just anarchy down there. Let's look at those bends there. All right, so we got this like. So just like I was saying right here on the second string, we got this. First string, same story. You get. Who can tell me what note is that? In terms of the scale degree or the interval. He was playing at the beginning. Does like that. Again, this is why I love, when I think of bending, I think of having more than enough oomph so that when you go to bend, you can not only get up to the pitch, but then you can have the vibrato. So like a. And that control in this spot gives you this combo of basically doing like So it gives you like a minor then a major. So if you're down for that, you got this. Get a nice full step bend there. And then you scoot down one fret, and then you do another full step bend. And then same sort of thing here. So those are really nice areas there to have this, all of those spots be bendable and in your control. Like, so we're going back to that lick there. So there's a... You can hear that in there. I won't be able to get everything, but like little bits in there my ear will grab, you know. Those chromatic things, that's just a good reminder, like the... And that pinky, getting the pinky going to the gym, right? Put a little headband on the pinky and be like... I mean, even if you were just to like... kind of just have a little, I'm going slower here with this sort of steady groove. I got my friend here, the foot going. That's my actual foot. Just to kind of work through that kind of chromatic, like. It's as much, I find, it's as much about turning your brain off as it is like turning your muscles on. Because if I squeeze too much, then I'll sort of like hesitate. And if I just let it kind of like flow and kind of roll into the next, and then just find the next sort of like checkpoint. It's almost like you can have a moment of like just chaos where it's just chromatic, like, but if you have a landing, like that is your sort of like your lick that everyone's ear can be like, oh. And then you sort of stick that, and then you can keep going. In theory. Whew. There are the 6. That's so good, right? You can literally hear him in the 2.5 minutes in our time. This is like football time, where like 2.5 minutes on the clock equals like a half hour of all the stoppages. Sorry about all the interruptions. But you can hear him warming up throughout this in like, you know, far faster than probably most mortals would warm up. He's like locking into his groove now. So that's great. So we got this, I'll show it here on the map. We've got box 1, right? We'll slide that up 2 frets. So you see, it's just like a getting that muting. So he's got his finger really across, so he can do the. So he can really dig in with all that tude, you know. And then he gets into this like something like that, but he's doing a lot faster and schmoover. And that move's really cool. It's like whoop. So it's all in one position right there. He's which makes it nice and smooth. Oh, sorry, wrong spot. Here we go. So that alone would be. I'll sort of clean up the tone. These would be the type of things I would try to like zero in on. Might even for the moment indulge in some verb just to sort of sauce it up. Austin, how we doing? Yeah, just getting lost and kind of making a mess of it, but like getting into those shapes as something that can be like thrown in that rhythmically. That'd be the goal. And with all that kind of like muting, that's the real trick to that, is making sure that you can play these like, because that third string has to be muted there. So good, so good. There's that band. Oh yeah, switches to a whole other thing there, and has that sort of droning note thing going. It's like I can't keep this guitar in tune when I'm trying to play like Uncle Larry. It's just like asking too much, you know? And then he kind of switches into those double stops. Maybe something that's coming through from this. What are you guys learning so far from watching me sort of drown in these ideas? What I love about it is that there's a lot of things happening at once, and to get the right attitude, there's going to be some things that break my normal patterns of like how I might hold a scale or hold a shape, right? Maybe I might find myself too accustomed to being like, oh, I'm setting up shop in this box one. So everything right here from this finger up is like everything I need right there. But so often he's breaking through that and switching to what would be like sort of an awkward looking grip and incorporating the pinky. But then that gives him all these kind of like things that just will not happen in a different shape. Like they're all unique to those areas that require some of that really inventive sort of muting and yeah, the fluidity is the thing, right? Putting it all together so it just flows. This is him just saying like, boom, record, let's go, warm up, bam. There's that lick again, love it. Getting that B in there. That's a use your voice too. Doesn't matter if you sing well or not. It's just it'll help you find things faster, you know? Yeah. Ooh. And some. Oh, he kind of did that lick earlier, and they came back to it. Yes, sing. You've got to sing, even if it's not good for anyone but your friends on the internet. Let's see. I'm gonna slow that down. Go molasses mode here. So it's a little bit after this. We got to get that lick, right? Am I right? Am I right? I mean, we got to go. We got to get this. Boom, boom. Seems like it's kind of going from a whole step below. So I think what I'm hearing is like kind of going from the B. Because we'd have this C sharps, right? Let's see if it's something like that. And the bend, yeah. Very nice. So that's that major blues area of, like, you know, that's the BB box, right? Tasty. Love it. And that's a new one for me for sure. A lot of this is new, but that one I feel like, ooh, I gotta use that. Back up to full speed. Yeah, like I'm trying to get better at these sort of like these slippery I feel like all the young bloods out there in the neo soul world were doing what I call like the banana peel, like in Mario Kart, where they do like they do that really quick, and like I just have never really done that, and now I hear it all over the place. I'm like, oh, I got to get better at that, because it gives just like a little like wobble, a little head fake for a moment. Oh, what do we think, gang? How we doing?
I feel like a penguin
No,
watching
Kent,
eagles.
you can soar. You can soar. You can fly in your own way, for sure. Yeah, tell me about it. I do feel like the dodo. Yeah. Okay. So that's a. And again, mixing that major and that minor, so you'll hear moments there where it's a little more like C sharp, major blues. Right? Suddenly it goes like boom, boom, so here. That sort of major. This is the lick down low that we were just doing above, based off of B, but. And then the minor stuff. And there's the major and the minor, back and forth. That's all I'm trying to show. Constantly. Ooh, okay, so. Kind of into that territory. So it goes from like the. So it has that more like major sounding versus the minor. So just look at that for a moment, if you would, with me. We've got this like, so right there, that's like obviously two notes that are lighting up in the minor pentatonic. That's what I have up there on the board down there below. So if you bend, you got that really nice bent sort of like double stop version of that. If you do the same thing, just approach that. Like those are the notes we're going for now. That one is obviously not in the minor pentatonic. That's going to be that major 6 of the scale of the C sharp major. So if we bend to that, sounds nice, like a sort of pedal steel bend. And if you decide to resolve it to a major third, it's got that sound. Versus minor. So those choices are yours, kind of in how you end your phrase or begin it. Whatever you want to do. It's all good. Oh, I love that style of that rhythm. Be sure to sing scat. Do Scooby-Dooby-Doos on your side of the, who is a fan out there? Who's a fan of singing what they play and playing what they sing? I'm a huge proponent of that. In fact, I set up my looper so that I can grab a mic and sing gibberish into it and then listen to that gibberish, warts and all, and be like, all right, what was I singing from my subconscious stream of consciousness, and try to learn it. Something different always comes out of it. So how many of y'all ever do that? Have you ever like sung a voice memo and then tried to learn what you must have been thinking? Or just sang a solo and then went back and learned it? Like there's some great solos that I think some Weezer solos where like I learned later that Rivers Cuomo, the main guy, said like, yeah, I just sang the whole solo, then I go back and just learn it note by note because it's always going to be a little bit different, the phrasing and the intonation, everything than we would normally do when we're just thinking fingers and dots and strategy and all that. So I went back a bit here. There's that bend. There's that bend. So he went up a little bit further. So coming from the and that's just sort of something that I would stay on like then go to mix in that feel switch, that time feel switch, right? Whew. Again, that sort of that first finger bend, right? Thanks, David Patrick. Appreciate that. This little stretch here of this classic third string of box one. Spend a year, get a degree in this where you just, because I really feel like on that spectrum of notes right there, everything is fair game as long as you play it with intention. So you got boom, boom, boom. Imagine that every single one of those notes, and probably a bit above and below, you got that one right there is great too. They're all like basically one like boom, like rubber band of just like just play with that until it becomes something where you can just dig in and kind of not even know exactly how it's going to sound sometimes on purpose. So it's just going to and then just resolve. You just got to stick the landing. Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. Check that out. And again, that's another spot up there where it's the same thing, same story. So this right here is repeated right up there. A lot of people, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but like when Stevie is doing like the in that Albert box, so much of what gives it that sort of like that bending those two strings at once is that he's doing that usually, I think, like with his first finger, which is bonkers because he had those heavy strings. But like, so you can introduce some like real kind of like, I don't know, like tension, basically, just that sort of like crazy amounts of vocality, I guess you could call it, which I just dig so much. I'm mainly just stalling because I know he's just ripping through things. I'm like, okay, I can get 2% of this, 5% of this. Yeah. Not totally sure, but just kind of, I think just sort of clusters of three there, where it's just like more of the right hand thing there. So that'd be a good thing to just kind of... So I make a big old soup of it, and I just sort of like, it's all just spare parts right now, but I'm trying to get the hot glue gun out and put it together. And I like this process. Do you have a process that you enjoy for learning new things that works for you? Meaning, because there's the buckle down and look at the dots and sort of like textbook, there's value to that. Having the analysis, I basically treat that, for as much as I got these visuals going, I treat all of that as like looking at the chalkboard. Like in the locker room, you're looking at the plays you're going to try to run, you're rehearsing them in your head and all that. You maybe you like even rehearse some of the footwork and stuff like that. You sort of scrimmage with it a bit, but then when you get into the flow of the song, or like even a backing track, kind of simulating it, then that sort of like mashing it all together, it gets really messy for a while. Like, as you can tell, it's just like a lot of like, whoa, it almost sounds like these like parts that aren't fitting together, but it's so much closer than it might seem. So if that gives you any perspective, hopefully, sometimes you might go from watching a video and like, oh, I got all these ideas. That was such a good instructional video. Guitar friend Tim showed me this great lesson. And then you sit down with the chart and you maybe have the wall size, all 5 spots of the pentatonic. Awesome. You got your poster, Randy Rhoads, whatever you need for inspiration. Then when you go to execute that plan, it's just garbage at first. You're like, dang, what went wrong? It's like, no, that's exactly where it ought to be next, is that like just dirt on the jersey. And then the real, like, there's a lot of repetition is going to be involved there. Taking breaks is important. Like what we're doing now is like stepping away from it for a second, letting your brain in the background kind of cook it. And then coming back to it, hopefully in some different keys and different tempos. So like what I would do, and I'll spare you guys this, I'll wrap up in a little bit, but like I'm going to try to take some of these licks and just make sure that I can like play them in other keys. It seems so obvious because with the guitar, we just repeat the shapes. But again, as different keys are going to have different size frets. I mean, piano players don't have different size keys when they go higher or lower. We do. And so some of the details that we got to run through our system, our nervous system, are like, oh yeah, in C sharp, that's kind of a nice tasty area of the neck to have your box 1 sort of situated. And whenever I want to run stuff like that, I'll do C sharp or C or D. And it's a different story. If I go up to E, then I'm kind of like, it's nice and high up here, but it almost gets a little more into that kind of squashed range. And E makes me want to reach more for the open E-ness of E. And you get that sort of like 2 worlds of like the octave apart kind of stuff. So in other words, like I just try to run it through some different things to make sure that it goes from being a thought process into my actual bloodstream. And maybe I do a live stream like I have here to sort of put my ass in the seat and make me just sort of step up to basically like learn as much as I teach. And that's the goal with all of this. So if you're just joining, if you happen to be coming in from the world of Uncle Larry, apologies in advance and during. I'm just obviously just kicking it around, doing my best. And let's sort of get through the back half of this and see what other gold is in here. It's all gold. It's just, what can I mine and make mine? Aw. Yeah. That little tritone thing, it's just like such a great, like just so much attitude. Like it's like stuff like that is fun. No idea how he did that. I would call that like the short circuit lick, the sort of sort of like a momentary. Like that. He's getting that pinky involved in a way that just my pinky just feels like totally out of shape for that kind of thing. But gotta go to this one here. But like that would be a good thing just to exercise, like to be able to do all pull-offs. So just one pick. Whew. Ooh, that's great. Yet again, that's a bending with that first finger to get that major third, minor third, major third, and all points in between, right? Minor, major. It's a fun spot. Ooh. Oh yeah, a little bit like a. That'd be like at some point I gotta be able to get one of those chromatic things. Yeah, that type of thing. So it's being able to do that really quickly, not necessarily like speed playing, but like you've got this working that in on the fly, right? Or how many of y'all have got this in your toolkit, like a basic but must-have type of thing, as like those unison bends, right? They're just so like fun, and they're rock and roll, and you can just put them in real sparingly. Especially when you got a bit of overdrive, they've got that natural kind of what's called beading, like the B-E-A-D. The wobble between those two notes. When they're more spot on, then it's more sort of flat. But if you have a little melody there, they're just fun. Fun as heck. Santana did stuff that was beautiful in the early Santana records. Yeah, the 2-string bend, unison bend on like Samba Pati. Check out that tune. Like, just it's beautiful on a ballad to just have like a real. Anyway. Ooh, I gotta get that. All right. Pardon me. I'm gonna have to get in there and figure that out. Whip boo boo, whip boo boo. Let's sort of slow it down. We're going slow mode, molasses mode activated. Oh. What is it? Okay, so yeah, that's the trick I got. Yeah, I think it's... So the trick with this, I guess, is like you're bending the first string, and then you're playing the second string that's already there, kind of bunched up. So you go up by bending the first string, you come down bending the second string. So it's like. Hey, all right, we're getting somewhere, gang. Let's see. Boom, boom. Ooh, yeah. Like, that's that. One of my favorite moves here. So these 6 that happen a lot, and they sound so cool down here, like in these lower strings. I've been doing a bunch of that, but he's got this. He's ripping. He's ripping. Ooh, what's he? He's like hearing that in the tiny little 9-volt amp. It's kind of a. It's that right there. So it's like barely bending up to the octave. Nice tension there. Ooh. Might need a matcha tea after this. Whew. I think he's got a thumbnail. Almost done, gang. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers, Dermot. Whew. Oh, that one right there. What's that? So boom, boom. Oh, that was one I learned when they were on Rick Beato, right? Guthrie was showing that. Freaky, right? I'm so out of tune. Ooh, nice. You gotta love that tone. It's like the more clustered you get notes together, the freakier it sounds. Oof. Go with that freaky, freaky, freaky tone. I don't know. Ooh, my gosh, my friends. That's so stinky. Yeah. Ooh, the dive bomb at the end. That's how you know we made it. You see from the shirt, that's Jed Hughes there, everybody. Jed Hughes ripping it. Just kidding. That's Uncle Larry playing with Jed Hughes tonight. Gang, it's been a hoot. And then some. Y'all are very, very kind for sticking around. What do you got planned for the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend? I will do another live stream tomorrow for what it's worth if you're watching this in the here and now. That'll be more like a guided lesson with some jam tracks and what we've been working on. Thanks for kicking it and sticking around. Thank you, Uncle Larry, for taking us to school, as always. Be good to yourselves. Hey, thanks for swinging by if it's your first time checking it out. It's not always this loosey-goosey, but maybe this is a style you like. Thanks for getting into the swing of things. Thanks, Adams, Gomez, and be good to yourself. times. All right, see you guys. Ciao, 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 ciao.